Suppose this is where I leave you then. I owe you my life, envoy. I won't soon forget what you did. I don't know. It's all just sinking in. I hope the folks at the embassy know where to find a good, strong drink. You don't have to. Just go up the pier. I imagine they've sent someone official-like to take you there.
Must be nice, eh?
Well, it's the Living Land's biggest port. People come from all over. Not all of them are Adir's friends.
Wonder why?
You'll be fine. After the fort, I figure you can survive anything. Same to you. You'll make the Emperor proud, I'm sure of it.
Look, I'll no thank you for showing basic decency. But you saved my life. That counts for something. To me, anyway. I don't push her luck. Not all of them, but it's not a great way to make friends. Give Paradisans a chance. That's why they came here in the first place. Try not to get killed. Nah, I'm kidding. Just don't go around acting like you own the place, alright? Hope we don't run into each other. Still, take care of yourself.
This is your final warning, Kai. One more, and I put a bullet in
These
your
docks are reserved for the Imperial Envoy of Adir.
You know, if you just tell me where the claviger is, I'd get out of your hair.
He's out on official business. That's all you need to know.
So he didn't tell you either.
Hey! Turn around and sail back to wherever you came from. This dock is reserved for the Imperial Envoy. And he's late. Huh. Probably died at sea. Good riddance. Wait, you're the... Oh, fuck.
Nice.
Forgive me, Envoy. I meant nothing by it. A slip of the tongue. Can we start over? Name's Cynric, captain of the local militia. We're a scrappy bunch, but we know our way around Paradis. Unlike most Adirans who couldn't find their ass with both their hands. Oh, present company excluded. They told me you were godlike, but I didn't know what to expect. Your face, it's so... Ooh, on second thought, why don't I just shut up before I say anything else I regret?
Now there's a good idea.
No doubt you've come for the Adiran ambassador, but he's gone, along with our claviger. Well, he's the closest thing we have to a local authority. Part keeper of the keys, part bald fist.
Paradis' mayor, more or less. Most people out here aren't fond of established hierarchies and titles. So, we made up some new ones.
No, there's some kind of blight in the wilderness and rumors of plague. They went to investigate. Nature has a mind of its own in these parts. When the ecosystem changes, we ask ourselves how and why.
Leaderless and rudderless is the natural state of things in Paradis anyway. Keeps things interesting.
I'm sorry, Envoy, but no one's here to receive it.
Nonsense. There's a small army of pickpockets, smugglers, and scoundrels between those walls who'd be happy to take it off your hands.
Just ignore him.
Where did you say they went? Because I've got an idea.
They traveled northwest to the Strangle Route, past the old Pargroon Wall.
You need to find the ambassador, and I need to find the claviger. How's about we partner up? See, Cynric? I knew someone would appreciate me for me.
Kai, before you go, I just hate to send the envoy out there. The wilderness is no place for a scholar. Make sure he comes back alive, or the steel garrote will have my head.
Better yours than mine.
I admire your eagerness, Envoy. Just don't rush into danger too quickly, all right?
Right behind you. We've got to find your ambassador and my claviger before something else does. I'll bet you're glad to be on dry land after that voyage. Come on, let's get you some fresh air. Porgrunen left these beacons all over the island. They're good for finding your way around.
City's getting crowded. Pretty soon the Durans will outnumber us 3-1.
Why doesn't the Clavager put a stop to it?
What do you think, dimwit? He's nice and cozy in the Ambassador's pocket. That's enough for now. We got a listener.
What are you looking at? Piss off.
Keep walking, Outlander.
Hey! Better watch your step.
Please, how hard is it to answer a question?
I don't trifle with souls, man.
They're tearing my home apart. Never mind. I can't believe how rude everyone is around here. How hard could it be to find a watcher? That's a long way to walk. Oh well. The house is probably a loss by now. Something more like. A band of Zorips invaded my house. What am I gonna do? Then take my house key. It's northwest of here. That cabin on the cliff all by itself. Gods know I can't go back. And there's nothing to steal either. The Zorips saw to that. Come back when you've dealt with them, and make sure you get their leader, too. I'm sorry, but I don't think they'll go quietly. You'll have to kill them. Thank you. That may not be worth much coming from a stranger, but I mean it.
Move along, please.
I was here first. I'm not going anywhere.
If you're not working or selling something, you're loitering. Clear the way.
Now listen, you might be big in idea, but these are our docks, not yours. You're in for a rude surprise if you think we'll answer to you.
Fine. Have it your way.
Not sure what you were trying to accomplish with...
Sometimes I wonder whether it's worth the fight.
I'm not moving.
I'm not moving.
They've only been here a few years, but the Adherents act like they run the place.
Are all Paradisans like this?
You say the militia have closed Paradis to newcomers, so where should I go?
Well, there's always the shantytown, but, well, you know.
Yeah, I haven't heard the best things about that place. Is there nowhere else?
Perhaps the adherents are looking for new recruits.
No thanks. I'd rather risk the journey further inland than throw my lot in with them.
Your funeral, I guess. Why not just stay here? I'm sure you can find work around the landing.
Maybe. I sailed all the way from the Eastern Reach, if you can believe it.
Don't even bother heading to Paradis unless you've got a friend in the militia. Or maybe Heelguard could pull some strings.
I can't help it. After what happened with Kalisha.
Still, there is something to be said for the stability that the Adirans bring.
For you, perhaps, if you don't mind ignoring their stance on animancy.
I suppose. It isn't perfect, but in all my years living here, I've never felt so safe.
Ah, well, let's hope they never make it to Fjord. It wouldn't end well. I am getting tired of the militia's dream scourge fears. Seems overblown to me.
Oh, you must be the Imperial envoy that just arrived. Hello.
Darling, you don't think that...
I don't know. I'm sure you're very busy, envoy. But do you know of any other ships from Adir that are slated to arrive soon? Is it that easy to tell? Gods, I must be losing my touch.
We're waiting for our son, you see. He's been living in Adir for a number of years now, but is finally coming home.
I just hope he doesn't meet any trouble. I couldn't bear the thought of losing him, too. Not after...
After we lost our little girl. She was working as a mercenary in the Deerwood. Last we heard, she was traveling to Gilded Vale to check in on Alvra, our other daughter.
But she never made it. We can only assume the worst.
We appreciate that, envoy.
Thank you for taking the time to speak with us, envoy.
Sometimes I wonder whether it's worth it.
First German leaves, his letters won't turn up. Que larde! I'd heard a godlike had come to Paradis.
Oh, hey, Sansa. Comes on a little strong, that's all. He doesn't bite.
But to meet you, what an honor. Who is your patron? Were you drawn to this place? You can? Wait, you're pulling my leg, aren't you? I apologize. Everyone must ask you such things. Listen, you haven't been to the wilds east of the city, have you? I assume that's a no? Then have you seen a cartographer in the area? A human, about my height. His name is Girmund. He's my assistant, and I'm worried about him. I sent him to map the eastern wilds. I knew it would be perilous, but it's been a long time since he's written, even for him. Bandits, smugglers, spiders with eyes as big as plates.
You know how many so-called adventurers I've saved out there?
It's an intrepid occupation.
3 this month.
As I said, if you find him and bring me his map, I'll be glad to pay for it. I may even have more work for you. When he last wrote, he was mapping the eastern ruins. Take the letter. It might help. If you find him, bring his work to my shop in Paradis, Idaho. You're welcome anytime. I have quite the assortment of curios. Maybe you'll even buy one of my maps.
Well, that's our marching orders then. Maybe it's superstition, but Audra like this usually marks a good spot to rest. I haven't seen this much excitement in a while. Perhaps I've got you to thank for bringing it with you, Envoy. After your voyage, it must be nice to spend the night on dry land. Personally, I've always found the rocking of a ship to be soothing. As long as I've got my feet facing the bow, that is. You know, for most people, getting sent to the living lands is a punishment. But, according to Cynric, you're the personal envoy of the Emperor of Adir himself. Quite a position. You must have gone through one of Adir's famous academies. I can't imagine you had time for much other than your studies, so... Tell me, is this your first time getting dirt under your fingernails? A word of advice, then. Practical application in the living lands usually involves a dagger or bow. Or baking mold, if that's all you have on hand. Don't ask. What I really want to know, since hard questions are your specialty, is why the Emperor would send his best scholar all the way to the Living Lands. Oh, that almost does sound like a punishment. I don't know how you investigate a so-called plague of the soul, so better you than me. Being a godlike, I don't suppose your patron deity gives you any unique insights into matters of the soul, do they? Sorry. It's a rare sight, and these are strange times. I haven't met anyone who's really seen the Dream Scourge yet, but that hasn't stopped people from worrying about the rumors. Refugees are flooding in from outlying regions. The guards are restricting access to the city. And people are making offerings to the gods for everything from hangovers to indigestion, just in case. And here I was hoping for good news. Unfortunately, the presence of so many Adiran troops and the rumored exploits of the Steel Garrote paladins supporting them is only making a tense situation worse. I think that's why the Clavenger accompanied your ambassador. Exactly. Paradis has been quiet lately, but I don't know how long that'll last. We're talking about an island that has been largely settled by nomads, exiles, and dissidents. People who tend to be suspicious of authority. But what about you? What's your stake in things? Besides your orders, of course. Just be careful where you say that. That's the kind of talk that may get people thinking you've got the Dream Scourge. I'll let you get some rest, but thanks for talking. It's good to be part of a squad again, even if it's just for a while. It's the gateway to the Living Lands, a scenic port city that's as beautiful and dangerous as the wilds around it. Most visitors enjoy some mariner's porridge at the Ballarrock, a back alley shakedown, and then the sudden return of that porridge out of one end or the other. Then, if they've got any sense, they turn around and take their chances back where they came from, with authentic tales of their adventures in the Living Lands. Don't get me wrong, it's a great city. In part because it's great at winnowing out people who have no business being here. The Living Lands means a hard-won second chance for the people who settle here. But first, you've got to survive it, and the island gives no quarter. For a lot of people, the Living Lands is a last resort. They come fleeing war, debt, famine, the law. Take your pick. For others, it's freedom. To seek glory, to redefine yourself, to live in a way you can't, maybe even on pain of death wherever you come from. Don't get me wrong, there are perfectly lovely people here, but most of us who stick around are a little odd. Used to be, if you could last out here, you could count on being left alone. Dangers in the wilds is nothing new out here, but something about the Dream Scourge is. And if that weren't enough, a lot of people aren't too keen on Adir's presence and affiliations out here. Ilgard's new embassy and his alliance with the Steel Garrote smell like the authority and order that a lot of people came here to leave behind. But I don't mean to put that on you. I imagine you're tired of having to answer for every Adiran who sneezes into somebody's stew. They say people afflicted with it have strange, vivid dreams and start confusing them with reality. What starts as a light daze becomes severe disorientation and eventually a bent towards chaotic violence. And then, fungal growths take over your body. So Dream Scourge. No, Dream Scourge is different. It spreads all over. Still, if you see any new mushrooms sprouting up anywhere unexpected, let me know. Until then, look on the bright side. The Living Lands is filled with people and things that are likelier to kill you first. My favorite subject. I'm well past seconds myself, if we're counting. Even decent people make mistakes, and the rest of us can grow with a little time and grace. Even if it weren't, I'd rather be wrong than cynical. Anyway, if this place can't give us misfits and screw-ups a second chance, what hope do we have? That must have been 6 years ago now. I guess I was drifting, looking for a change. A settlement called Thirdborn. It's a rugged little place, lots of Rawatayan expatriates. You're pretty nosy, aren't you? And I thought that Inquisitor was intimidating. Things just didn't work out there. Let's leave it at that. I joined up with the Rawatine Navy as soon as I was old enough. I was part of our campaign to establish a foothold in the Deadfire Archipelago. Starting out, it was exciting, purposeful. I believed in our mission. We were returning to our ancestral homeland, reclaiming fertile soil that would feed Rawatai. Additionally, we were helping Deadfire, bringing organization to the pirate-ridden archipelago and civilization to our distant Wana cousins. To Adir bringing order and civilization to our lawless frontier? Then I hope you learn from my mistakes faster than I did. The Huana didn't want us there. We spent almost as much time fighting the tribes as we did pirates and Wilder. And it was hard to see how any of our fighting and dying was feeding people back home. I'd always heard that war was supposed to temper us, strengthen us, but I didn't see that either. I deserted. And I bounced between different mercenary companies for almost 10 years. Hey, not all of us catch on so quick. Besides, there were only so many options for a Rawatayan deserter with no training and anything else. As a mercenary, I figured I could at least choose my battles and my crew. I ended up here, didn't I? It was more of the same. The only comfort was being part of a squad. By the time I came to the Living Lands, I'd seen enough, had enough. I did. Yeah, for a while. Look, if I can give you some hard-won advice, stay on your toes. You're in a difficult position. Whatever your role asks of you, make sure it's something you're willing to give. Because you're the one who has to live with the consequences. Hey, advice is easy. The hard part's all you. By the way, now that we've gotten to know each other, let me know if you want to train together. I've been watching your form, and I think we could learn from one another. Yeah, I've watched your form as I've gotten to know you, and it's excellent. You're smaller than I am, but I picked up a few tricks from seeing the way you move on the battlefield. I'm happy to return the favor if there's anything I can teach you. I've noticed. That's it. You got the hang of it. I look forward to seeing what you can do when we get back out there tomorrow. In the meantime, get some rest. It's nice traveling with another soldier. You'll have to tell me one of your war stories sometime. Shoot. What gave it away? My finely pointed teeth, or the striking blue of my scales? Fair enough. My people are known to roam. Rauatai's hardly a hospitable environment. Many of us end up settling elsewhere, or making a living on the go. That's where you get the popular image of the Amawa bodyguard or mercenary. Don't sell me short. I've also been a drifter, a middling carpenter, and a terrible card player. We should play sometime. I'll show you. Then you must have come during our sunny season. Lashed by storms, battered by waves. We call it the rough country. We do a lot of digging for irrigation, drainage, warfare, the occasional village tournament. Anyone from Rauatai has spent enough time in some kind of hole in the ground to be on a first-name basis with the worms. So, trenchers. Those of us who leave are scramble roots, hardy weeds that can survive just about anywhere. You'd fit right in with the Ranganui's inner circle. It's true that the same things that make Rauatai a difficult place to live have shaped our people and our kingdom. Our coral masons have built living harbors and fortifications along the coast to protect our ships and shelter our cities. For all our shortage of fertile soil, Rauatai's land is abundant in saltpeter, copper, iron, most of the other materials you need to outfit your military with weapons and cannons. We value struggling and striving together. It helped us survive and build one of the most powerful navies in Aora. It's been hard won across a variety of conquests, cooperatives, and trading colonies. Some of the traditionalists worry that prosperity is making us as complacent and soft-handed as our rivals. Same as traditionalists everywhere. Me, I prefer the simplicity of the living lands. Kill the thing that's trying to kill you, and hope it has some edible meat on it. I'll tell you what I can. So did my commanding officers. I'll tell you what I can. Enjoy the ocean breeze while we're here.
Soon enough, the docks won't even be safe.
Watch out once you get past the palisades. The Stranger route is apparently hostile to life, as the scholars say. Wait a moment. Oh, Birth, eat my soul. You're the envoy. Sorry, didn't mean to be so informal. They said the Emperor sent one of his best and brightest, and Aethys knows we need the help.
Your reputation precedes you.
I hope your voyage here was smooth as good butter. I know maybe too much about rough seas, what with serving in the galleys. Did you deserve it? Kidding, kidding. Sorry to hear, Envoy. The living lands is dangerous. We should be sticking together. Can't imagine what might have possessed them to do that. I hope it isn't the damn soul plague. I haven't seen anything like that before. It seems to change people. Animals. Feels sometimes like the plague is alive somehow. Sorry for the glib tongue. I've tried to be more proper before. Didn't work. I'm no good at niceties, including abiding by most rules. The law and I aren't exactly the best of friends, no. Although, I think that's Adia's problem. I was mostly just stealing food. If you're born to the wrong social class, Adia makes climbing the ranks rather difficult. Anyway, that's all in the past. Land? No, absolutely not. What I've learned is you can either obey the rules or die. I got caught for my many small, petty crimes and spent about 6 years on the prison galleys. Then, a year ago, an Adiran official came to the jails and told us we could serve the Empire for a shortened sentence or rot. You can guess which I chose. Oh, you're a funny one, Envoy. Free. Am I free after this? And they say the Adiran elite have no sense of humor. All in all, it's a pretty sweet deal. 3 square meals, bed of my own, maybe even a chance to retire as a clerk. Wouldn't mind being bored stupid for a few years. Better than the alternative. But first, even more Palisades. He and the Clavager passed through not long ago. I didn't much like it, but they refused an escort. Less competent than he seems. You think with all the time the ambassador spends working, he'd have more done. No, I hear he's about to sneeze away from swallowing the muck he's paddling in. Poor man. Hot-tempered bastard. I think the ambassador's scared of him, but won't do a thing because the Clavager keeps the wheels turning. Good at its job, though. Purportedly. Bad about his confections. Sweet tooth like a hummingbird's. He and the ambassador make a good pair, honestly. The ambassador talks a lot. The Clavager gets the administrative day-to-day done. Honestly, I'm more scared of her than Woduka. At least I understand why the Burned Queen is so pissed. Ludwig runs the Steel Garrote, Woduka's order of paladins. The only thing they care about is their burned queen. There's honor among thieves, Envoy. But zealots, they'll raise the world for their god. About Adir, same hungry empire that is looking to gobble up the living lands. The one that sends people out to maybe die for its ambitions. Kind of you to ask, Envoy. The truth is, not really.
Idea's fair and good to the people it thinks deserve compassion. But break its trust, and well, Idea will make you crawl to retrieve the pieces. You can tell it's a place that worships Wodiga. Actually, I miss the pies. The crust's all wrong here. Just take a look down the road, and you'll see the last palisades we tried to hold. And the ones before them. We're trying our best to keep the wilds at bay here, Envoy. The Strangleroot is hungry. Every day, it gets closer. Every day, weirder creatures crawl out from its foliage. Be careful if you're headed out there. Anyway. Paghrunin beer is surprisingly terrible. Always trust in a Mauen to know where the best seafood is. Pay attention when the locals tell you something. And watch out for poets. Something's odd about them. Listen, Envoy. I'm here to build defenses against the land. You want geography lessons? Go ask a cartographer. I do know a few things, though. So, ask. No, none. It's all untamed wilderness and feral heathens. I'm joking. Of course there are. There's Fjord, which is run by animancers. Thirdborn, where all the ruffians dwell. And Solus Keep, which has the Paghrunin, who don't like anybody. And happily, too. Sounds like they've got a whole colony of inventors and researchers there. If I want a servant of the Adiran Empire, I might say it sounds fascinating. Groundbreaking, even. I know animancy is considered blasphemous and dangerous, but Fjord supplies most of the produce we eat here in Paradis. They might... Miscreants and layabouts and all those great things. The kind of people who can make a life out of impossibly bad situations. Settlements just as rough and tumble. Wouldn't mind having a drink with the locals, to be honest. They sound like they've got stories. You know what I mean? Heard they're under siege right now, though, by those dream thralls. Wouldn't want to be them, between the desert weather and that. I mean, the Paghrunin dwarves won't talk to anybody. They stay inside Solus Keep and just never come out. Once again, I'm no cartographer. But you know what they say about continents with small acreage? They've got big personalities. Little bit of everything here. Poison swamps, deserts, snow-covered mountains, volcanoes, acid seas. Because why not? A cartographer might be able to tell you more. I hear there's one in town.